Cherry Blossom Blaze. The flickering neon glow of the SPY briefing room cast a strange, almost cinematic, light across the faces of Team Chimera. Agent Capricorn Jane Thomas adjusted the strap of her combat vest, her blonde hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Beside her, Agent Leo, Lizzie Evans, bounced on the balls of her feet, her red hair, a fiery halo, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Across from them, Agent Draco, Elise Deanne, ran a gloved finger over the sleek fabric of her uniform, probably critiquing the designer's choice. "All right, Mrs. Thomas, Mrs. Evans, Mrs. Deanne." Five's voice cut through the hum of the monitors, his brown hair gleaming under the harsh light. He stood by the main screen, a grim expression on his face. "This is not a drill. We have a critical situation in Japan." Lizzie's ears perked up, a faint blush dusting her cheeks as she glanced towards the corner of the room. There, at his control station, sat Tom, Agent Aeneid, his blonde hair a little tousled, his fingers dancing across a holographic keyboard. He looked up, catching Lizzie's eye and offering a shy, adorable smile. Lizzie's heart did a little flutter. "Oh, Tommy." Her internal voice swooned, quickly followed by a mental kick. "Focus, Leo! Mission!" "Aoki Honoka, our second-in-command, has been captured," Five continued, a picture of a serene, dark-haired woman appearing on screen. She was on a reconnaissance mission near Tokyo, investigating whispers of a rogue scientific faction. She disappeared 2 days ago. Elise frowned. "Aoki-san? That is very... not good." "Indeed," Five said, his gaze hardening. "Our intel suggests she's being held in a disused military hangar on the outskirts of Yokohama. And," he paused, "she's not the only thing they're hiding. We've intercepted encrypted communications detailing a specialized bioweapon being moved in an armored military van within the hangar." Jane stepped forward. "Who's guarding it, Five?" "2 Russian operatives, codenamed Bear and Wolf. They're known for their unconventional methods, highly aggressive, extremely volatile. Basically 2 psycho soldiers," Five warned. "They're not to be underestimated." "Russian psychos, a bioweapon, and Aoki Honoka in a hangar?" Lizzie grinned a little too widely. "Sounds like a party." "Mrs. Evans," Five warned, his voice low, "I know what you're thinking. No explosions. I repeat, no explosions." Lizzie pouted, crossing her arms. "But it's Japan, Five. Think of the spectacle." Elise sighed dramatically. "Please, Lizzie, can we not turn every mission into a fireworks display? It is so passé." Jane shot Lizzie a look. "He's right, Leo. Precision, stealth. This isn't a demolition derby." Tom, from his station, interjected, his voice soft but clear. "I've uploaded schematics of the hangar to your comms. It's an old Imperial Navy facility. Thick walls, but there are ventilation shafts large enough for infiltration, and a secondary service entrance on the north side near the main runway." Lizzie found herself staring at him again, a warmth spreading through her chest. He was just so brilliant, so utterly a cinnamon roll. "Thanks, Tommy," she mumbled, louder than she intended. Five cleared his throat, snapping Lizzie back to attention. "Your primary objective is to extract Aoki Honoka safely. Secondary, secure, or neutralize the bioweapon. Tom will be your eyes and ears. Doc will be on standby for any medical emergencies." Doc, a burly Australian man with a kind smile and Tom's older brother, gave a thumbs up from his separate comm station. "Any questions?" Five asked. When none came, he nodded. "Good. Team Chimera, dismissed. Good luck." Hours later, the crisp night air of Japan greeted Team Chimera. The hangar loomed in the distance, a dark, imposing silhouette against the pale crescent moon. "Japan is surprisingly chic," Elise murmured, adjusting a strand of brown hair that had escaped her hood. "Though I fear my uniform is utterly wasted on these shadows." She discreetly slipped a hand into a passing businessman's jacket pocket. A moment later, a sleek leather wallet vanished into her own. "For emergencies, you understand," she explained, catching Lizzie's disapproving glance. Of course you do, Draco, Lizzie scoffed, rolling her eyes. Always funding your emergencies, she peered through her binoculars. Right, Yank, what's the plan? Jane surveyed the perimeter. Tom identified a weak spot in the fence near the North Service entrance. We'll use that to get in. Elise, you're our stealth expert. You lead the way. Lizzie, you're on lookout for any unexpected patrols, or anything explosive. She gave Lizzie a pointed look. Darn it, Lizzie muttered. Fine, stealth it is, for now. They moved like shadows. Elise, with the grace of a cat, easily bypassed the broken fence and the initial motion sensors, her movements fluid and silent. Jane followed, her steps light and controlled. Lizzie, despite her gremlin tendencies, was surprisingly adept at quiet movement when she wanted to be, fueled by the anticipation of times something times happening. Inside the sprawling, dimly lit hangar, the air hung heavy with the smell of old metal and oil. Two figures, easily identified as the Russian operatives, were visible near a large, armored military van. They were arguing in gruff Russian, gesturing wildly, their massive forms casting intimidating shadows. They look like they've been sculpted from granite, Elise whispered, her French accent barely audible. And their fashion sense? Non-existent. What a waste of good bulk. Focus, Draco, Jane warned, pointing to a stack of crates offering good cover. Tom, anything on their comms? Tom's voice, a calm presence in their earpieces, replied, Negative, Capricorn. They're running scramblers. Looks like they're waiting for transport for that bioweapon. Aoki Honoka is likely inside the van, or nearby. Lizzie was already itching for action. Her gaze fell upon a stack of oil barrels not far from where Bear and Wolf were arguing. A tiny, almost imperceptible smile touched her lips. Yank, I have an idea for a distraction. Leo, remember Five's orders, Jane said, sensing the impending chaos. Don't worry, it's a times small times distraction, Lizzie insisted, already pulling a compact, cylindrical device from her utility belt. It was sleek, metallic, and definitely not meant for opening jam jars. With a flick of her wrist, she lobbed it with surprising accuracy. It landed with a soft thud behind the oil barrels. A split second later, a times crump echoed through the hangar, followed by a shower of sparks and a plume of black smoke. Not an explosion, exactly, but definitely a very loud, very attention-grabbing times crump. The two Russian soldiers spun around, bellowing curses. What was that? Bear roared, grabbing his assault rifle. My bad, Lizzie yelled, leaping from cover, a mischievous grin plastered on her face. Just warming things up a bit, eh? Leo, Jane groaned, but it was too late. Well, since we're already making an entrance. Elise drawled, materializing behind Wolf with a swift, elegant kick that sent the brute stumbling. Let's at least do it with style. Jane, adapting quickly, burst from cover, her movements precise and powerful. She tackled Bear, disarming him with a practiced flick of her wrist before he could even aim. The fight was on. Lizzie, delighted, darted around the hangar, her smaller frame an advantage against the lumbering Russians. She didn't have her flamethrower, Five had insisted, but she had a collection of stun grenades and improvised sonic devices. She deployed one, creating a high-pitched shriek that disoriented Wolf just as he tried to grab Elise. Elise took advantage, unleashing a flurry of acrobatic kicks and punches. Honestly, your technique is so heavy-handed, she quipped, landing a sharp blow to Wolf's temple that sent him sprawling to the ground. One must be fluid, like water. Jane, meanwhile, had Bear pinned, her alpha training shining through. He was strong, but she was faster, more skilled. With a final, decisive move, she rendered him unconscious. 2 down! Lizzie cheered, skipping over to the van. Now for the main event! The armored van was indeed formidable. Jane used a specialized cutting tool to slice through the reinforced door's hinges. Inside, Aoki Honoka was tied to a chair, her eyes widening in relief at the sight of Team Chimera. Aoki-san, are you all right? Elise asked, quickly untying her. They didn't do anything tasteless to you, did they? I'm fine, Elise. Thank you, Aoki Honoka replied, rubbing her wrists. She pointed to a sealed containment unit secured to the van's floor. That's it, the bioweapon. It's highly unstable, a neurotoxin. They were planning to weaponize it. Tom, we've got it, Jane reported. How do we neutralize or secure it? Tom's voice came through instantly. The containment unit has an internal pressure regulator. There's a panel on the side, Capricorn. Input the code, 734 Alpha 9 Delta. It should initiate a complete internal purge of the neurotoxin, rendering it inert. Lizzie, ever the tinkerer, was already at the panel, her small tools out. Got it, Tommy? Sounds like a fun little puzzle. Her fingers flew over the keypad, precise and confident. She loved this part, getting to use her brain, especially when Tommy was guiding her. It made her feel like they were a team, just the two of them. Click! A soft whirring sound emanated from the unit, followed by a faint hiss. Confirmed, Capricorn, Tom announced. Bioweapon neutralized. Suddenly, klaxons blared throughout the hangar. Red lights flashed, casting ominous pulses across the walls. Uh-oh, Lizzie said, looking up. Guess our small distraction wasn't so small after all.